Diversity doesn't matter, implementation does. And I may have fooled a lot of you with the title, but I just want to get this out of the way and say I am for diversity and representation in film and movies, but I'm tired of seeing this being a black and white topic. You're either against it or you're for it, when in reality the issue is how they use it and not its existence. But before we get into it, I'm MrThirdperson, the internet substitute, and I talk about what's happening now, what happened then, what's happening in the future, and I ramble about it like my substitutes used to do. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to see more, and I hope to see you around. I have a guideline for if I decide if I believe that the implementation is good or not, and this guideline is, can you take the portrayal of this character, can you take the person portraying this character and replace them with anybody else and change nothing about the story? If you can do that, it's good implementation. If you can't, it's poor implementation. I'll give a few examples of good and poor implementation. Possible spoilers ahead for these shows that I'll be naming before I give the examples. Good implementation. Brian Tree Henry's character in the Eternals, and I know his name isn't Brian Tree Henry, but if I try to say the combination of letters that are in his name, I screw it up every single time. So his character in the Eternals, gay man married to another gay man, they have kids in a house and all this stuff. Take them out, switch them out with straight characters, lesbian characters, whatever, changes nothing. It stays the exact same, his struggles are the exact same, the story plays out the exact same way. Vanya to Victor in the Umbrella Academy. Elliot Page went through his transition during the production of the show, so they added that within the show. The way they did this is they had like a 10-second depiction of Victor introducing himself as Victor now, and everybody around it being like, okay, yeah, sure. Switch that person out with any other character and you take out that scene. And it's not even a scene, you take out maybe like 3 lines of dialogue. You take that out, it changes nothing about the story. Absolutely nothing changes. The ending and the finale of Umbrella Academy are still horrible and it plays out the exact same way. Arcane, Vi and Caitlyn kissing and being a lesbian couple, or Caitlyn hooking up with the redhead. Make Vi a man, make Caitlyn a guy, do whatever you want to do it. Switch it out in any way at all and it stays the exact same. The relationships are the same, the situations are the same, everybody's still messed up about Jinx, everything is the exact same. Now a couple of poor implementations. X-Men Dark Phoenix. Mystique walks out of the room and says, we should call this X-Women instead of X-Men. Like, what are you talking about? The mission you guys just went on required all of you. It required Quicksilver and Nightcrawler just as well as it required Storm and Jean Grey. You guys were all equally necessary. It was very forced and it didn't feel natural at all, so that was poor implementation. Moon Knight, the Egyptian superhero scene. She looks cool as hell, her design is awesome, but then she stops the car and some girl behind her goes, are you an Egyptian superhero? Bro, there's a bad guy right there trying to kill all of you and that's what you're thinking about right now? Now in real life we do this. In real life we see somebody come out and we go, oh cool, that's the first Egyptian superhero. But if you're in this situation, like if I was in a real life situation and Black Panther showed up, I wouldn't be like, are you a black superhero? Like no, I'd be like, fuck, and I'd start running. I'd get out of there. It didn't feel natural. And that's the biggest thing. The essence of it is, does the story remain natural? Does it still feel like this would happen by itself naturally as stuff is going on? And a lot of these poor implementations that I referenced, they don't feel natural. They feel like script writers. They feel like there are script writers in the back saying, oh, we need to hit these points and put this into the movie or the game. But in these situations where these topics aren't found originally and they want to somehow include it, they need to do it in a sensible and reasonable way to where it doesn't pull you out of the situation. Like it doesn't pull you out of the immersion and like, ooh, this is what it is. It's not people being reminded of real life. It's people being reminded that are not in this movie. You're so immersed in this situation and then it reminds you of a real life thing because it's not like, oh, this happens in real life, but instead, oh, there are people behind this production who are making them say these things. It removes you from the immersion. Oh, dude, I just hit the jackpot. I unlocked it. That's the issue. And people just can't make that connection because they're told this is the issue. When in reality, they are reminded that this is a script being read. This is a story that has been written. This isn't actually happening. I'm not actually in this situation right now. And I think once more people notice that, it will be less of a problem when it happens. And I think that with screenwriters and just in general story writers and production companies, if they start giving more effort and value into the quality and how they implement these people, then there will be less moments of that where you're reminded that that's what's going on. Now, a lot of people use this and blame the diversity on the bad quality of the movies or games, when in reality, we're just in an era of bad quality movies and games. Most of it is about money and sending a message, and we just want entertainment for the most part. For the people that are saying, yeah, well, if you put realism into your entertainment, it's not entertaining anymore. No, the issue with that is if the entertainment that you're viewing reminds you of something in real life and that real life situation bothers you, the issue is with you, not with the movie or the depiction. You have the issue because you're bothered with it in real life. A lot of these movies and stuff, they show these realistic topics and realistic issues, but you're not bothered by it because you're not actually bothered by it in real life. And the reason this is a current subject is because of the How to Train Your Dragon live action. They chose Nico Parker to play Astrid in How to Train Your Dragon. Now, me personally, I'm gonna say this just in full house, I don't care. about How to Train Your Dragon, I never watched it. When How to Train Your Dragon came out, I had already completely switched to full-time video games for my entertainment and not TV shows anymore, so I completely missed that. And people have an issue with Nico Parker playing Astrid because she has like curly hair, she looks more like, you can tell she's biracial, but you don't know exactly what, and I heard that she's like 70% European or something. She doesn't necessarily look exactly like Astrid, but if it's good or poor implementation isn't known until the movie comes out. The movie's not even out yet, so how do you know if she plays the character well or not? How do you know if it even matters to the character or not? And a good example of this is Ellie in The Last of Us. The casting for Ellie was brought out. Bella Ramsey? I think her name is Bella Ramsey. When Bella Ramsey was cast as Ellie, everybody was in outrage. What? She looks nothing like Ellie. Look at this, and like comparing her face to Ellie's face. Like, what the? And then the show came out, and literally nobody could have played a better Ellie.
If she so much as twitches, don't.
She hit that character perfectly. Just take that situation and apply it to diverse people in these roles, and you have the same thing. Look at the Disney princesses. That was like a huge outrage. Was it Holly Bailey? I always want to say Holly Berry. I think that's a very common mistake. Holly Bailey. Why are these people's names so hard to pronounce? Brian Tree Henry, Bailey Haley. I'm gonna say Bailey Haley. Bailey Haley played Ariel in The Little Mermaid. Her voice was perfect for that role.
What would I give if I could live out of these waters?
I do not care what color she is. She could be green. She could be an alien. Put a tiger in that role and have like a Lion King mess up again and have the lions singing and roaring to the movie. Do they do a good job? Yes, I love it. It's perfectly fine. Snow White, who played her? The girl from Hunger Games, whatever her name is. Her voice, when she sang in Hunger Games, I was like, okay, I see it now.
Nothing you can take from me.
She has the Disney voice. She is the voice that Walt Disney imagined when he created Disney. So these people depict these characters well. They sound and play the parts. Why does it matter that they look different? And to get to the point, it doesn't. It shouldn't. People getting outraged about it and bothered by it is a distraction from the fact that a lot of these things are just bad. They're just not good. X-Men Dark Phoenix, it wasn't bad because of the woman line. It was bad because it's a bad movie. It didn't make any sense. And you can look to the future for the next upcoming thing, Assassin's Creed Shadows. That was also an outrage this year that they had a black samurai. You don't know if it's gonna matter that he's black until the game comes out. It possibly doesn't have any effect on the story whatsoever, and if the game is bad, it's not because it has a black samurai, but because Ubisoft makes bad games now. They haven't made a good game in ages, and we know this. We shouldn't blame it on the one thing. They're just not producing good games. The Ubisoft owners themselves said that it's our fault that the games are bad. It's the gamers' fault that the games are bad. This is all just mental manipulation into us going against each other because we're all in a position of helplessness. We can't do anything about the fact that these productions are bad. So what do people who are helpless do when they can't change the situation that they're forced into? They blame other helpless people. Crabs in a bucket. We shouldn't be blaming each other for bad quality movies and games. And with bringing up Yasuke in the Assassin's Creed Shadows and it being a black person in rural Japan, a lot of people bring up the discussion of historical accuracy. The way I see it, if like 90% of the production isn't realistic or historically accurate, why would I care about this one historical inaccuracy? How to Train Your Dragon is about a fantasy world with fantasy creatures where they fight fantasy wars, but they're Vikings, and that's where we draw the line, is that they're Vikings and Vikings weren't black. Why is that the issue part? Do they play Vikings well? Is Nico Parker going to be a good Viking? And I can talk about that directly. We shouldn't be worried about Nico Parker playing Astrid not looking like her. We should be worried about the horrible green screen they use in the dragon scenes. This looks horrible. It doesn't look good. Green screen looks bad in almost everything. But another production that's just completely shit full of green screen and poor editing and just a poor design in general, the Minecraft movie that's coming out. People were bothered that there was a black woman in the trailer, but they're not bothered by the sheep? Did you see the sheep? It's a game about sharp corners and edges, and you rounded out the sharp corners and edges. You used a crafting table and you put stuff on it that didn't make any sense. They hired Jack Black as Steve.
I'm Steve.
Boy, if you don't. My goal is to have good quality production, and we're not getting that. We're not getting that because they're adding diversity. We're not getting that because the people in charge of the productions don't care about the quality of it. They care about hitting their quotas. Whatever the quota is, be it their finances, be it whatever audience they're trying to speak to, be it whoever they're trying to reach with it. It doesn't matter. They're not doing a good job at it, and it's getting very tiresome and annoying, especially when I see the consumers getting mad at other consumers for like what's going on. When, dude, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. I just didn't want to have to choose between 3 hair variants in video games anymore. Because I remember when I would play The Sims as a kid, the only hair variants you got that were for people of color were afros and cornrows. Possibly dreadlocks was occasionally an option. The afros were always perfectly shaped, and the cornrows always had gaps between the hair. It looked horrible. So I was glad when we finally started getting like more options and stuff when it came to creating me and myself in role-playing games where you're trying to play yourself in these other situations. And if you're not trying to play yourself, you can still play other characters. I had a female character in Guild Wars at the time, not because I felt like I was a female or didn't know what I was. Their armor was way cooler, and I didn't think for a half a second oh, I'm playing a woman where I can't do that. Why are they giving the women cool armor? Like, no, I look cool as fuck right now. Where's the issue? Dude, these things look cool as fuck. Bro, another good example of implementation. Avengers Infinity War, the woman hero scene, switch out any of those heroes from the female hero scene with men and it's still cool as fuck. It changes nothing. It's a cool hero group up. Dude, what are we getting bothered by at this point, bro? Can we not have fun and just think shit is cool? And can we not expect just higher quality production without worrying about like each other at the time? Where are the producers that were you guys arguing with the producers that the quality in the green screen is bad? Are you guys arguing that the script writing isn't good? Now maybe this has to do with like why a lot of writers and stuff were protesting. There was a lot of protests going on. Maybe that's why we got crappy writing and we got these crappy implementations of people in different situations. But in the end of the day, we're still getting it. We were able to bully the producers of Sonic the Hedgehog into changing a Sonic the Hedgehog look. Let's bully these producers into changing their script so that they can implement these people way better. Because we've gotten examples. I just gave you 4 examples of good implementation of diversity. It is possible. These other producers just aren't good at it. There are so many more issues to this on a production level than the diversity being existent, being present. The diversity doesn't matter, the implementation does. How do they implement it into the story? Does it feel natural? Does it feel congruent? Does it make sense in attachment to what's going on? And now it's different if the point of the character, if the driving point of the character is representation and diversity. For example, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the point of that was to go deep onto if Captain America can be a black man, why he can, why he can't, and at the end of the day, does it make sense? That's good implementation because it's not implementation, it's just what it is. That's what it's meant to be. Stop blaming each other. We're not crabs in a bucket. We are sentient human beings who are aware of each other and who are aware of what's going on. We shouldn't stoop to this level of, oh, why are you in this movie? Why are they being shown here? Why is it? Stop. Why are the writers ass? But at the end of the day, dude, I'm tired of this topic. I'm tired of this becoming a discussion every single time something is announced and released. Comment if you're also tired of it and you just want to see good, high quality stuff. And like at the end of the day, if it's good or bad is based off of if it's actually good or bad or not. And like and subscribe if you like this. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Ooh, did the lava lamp actually, dude, the lava lamp actually started laving or lamping? Oh no, like, cause I tried to turn this on and see how far it gets by the end of the video, but I think it's gonna take a second until it actually splits. It's getting thinner. Is it getting thinner? I can tell if it's getting thinner. Definitely moving. Ooh, it is getting thinner. Oh, are we about to see a split? Are we gonna get a split? Ooh. We got a split. We got a split in the video. I don't even know. I think the lighting is kind of fucked up. You can't really see it, but oh, it drooped back down. It's reconnecting. There was a split and then a reconnection, bro. Love, healing, communication. We need to talk to each other to understand each other. We need to talk to understand. We need to connect, and then we can become whole again. We can be a lava lamp. Oh, dude, now it's a big blob, and they're more powerful than anything. Now it's moving back to a big blob.